What's going on, everybody? It's your man with the plan, ShaneMan20, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I absolutely hate about my truck. Now, first and foremost, I just want to let you guys all know, I really do love this truck. I absolutely love everything about it. But there are some downfalls to this truck, and some of them are a little bit nitpicky and some personal preferences, so just keep some of those things in mind. One of the first things that I actually hate about this truck is oddly something that I do love about this truck, so it's sort of a love-hate relationship, so to speak. And that would be none other than the Gdi engine. That's right, guys, the gasoline direct injected 5.3 liter L83 Ecotec 3 V8 engine. While one of the greatest mechanical achievements that Chevrolet has brought to the table has certainly provided excellent and reliable power, has also been one of their downfalls too. If you're not aware of the issues related to gasoline direct injection, let me give you a 30-second tutorial on this subject. As most of you all know, engines have a PCV system, which stands for positive crankcase ventilation. It allows blow-by that has seeped past the piston rings into the crankcase and to be vented back into the intake and reburned in the combustion chamber to be admitted into the atmosphere. In the case of the PCV system, one of the issues they tend to have is allowing oil vapors to travel along with those blow-by gases back into the intake, which tends to coat the intake in oil and soot and can, over time, coat the intake runners and the top sides of the valves, causing it to stick and create misfires. With the Gen 3 and Gen 4 LS engines, they had direct port fuel injection, which is to say the fuel is injected into the intake port of the cylinder head from the intake manifold. Because of this, fuel is able to clean the intake runner and valve, a lot of times if you were running a good fuel or a good fuel system cleaner. With the new Ecotec 3 engines and performance-based LT1 and LT4 engines, this issue is now significant because you have fuel being directly injected into the combustion chamber, and you have no way to clean intake, runners, and intake valves if they do start to accumulate sludge. There are some methods out there for cleaning buildup like this that are for Gdi engines, but they also have their setbacks too. That is why people strongly urge that you get a catch can if you decide to purchase a vehicle with a Gdi engine, to keep buildup from becoming an even bigger and costly issue over time. And as far as I know, GM is aware of these issues, but haven't seen any comment as of the methods to combat the issues related to gasoline direct injection. The second thing that I really hate about this truck seems to be a little bit nitpicky, but it's a personal opinion, and that actually has to be the oil capacity. 8.5 quarts worth. That's 2.5 quarts more than the previous generation of Silverados. The reason for more capacity is because of the weight of the oil being used, which is OW20, and the reason for using this weight of oil is for better fuel economy. The only real negative thing that I have to say about it is that it is more expensive to fill this truck up with oil and a filter than it would be the previous generation, because now you're dealing with 8 to 8.5 quarts of oil as opposed to 6 quarts of oil, where, you know, it used to be you could just go and buy a 5-quart jug and a bottle of 1 quart and a filter and you were done. With this, it's kind of a mix between whether or not to just go on ahead and buy 2 5-quart jugs or to buy a 5-quart and then get a couple of 1-quart jugs. So it's really a giant battle, and it's a pain in the butt when you're having to change the oil on this. Other than that, that's really about the only issue that I have with that. The third thing that I actually hate about my truck, even though I don't do a lot of towing, I would have really liked to have had an integrated trailer brake controller. However, the nice thing is that GM sends you this little thing right here, and what this is it helps you plug in any aftermarket trailer brake controller that you may already have. Of course, if you don't have one, you can go and purchase one, but that's a really nice thing that GM does. When you buy your truck, they give you this, and you know, if you don't have the integrated trailer brake controller. So applause to you, GM. I really do appreciate that. The fourth thing that I actually hate about this truck, again, another nitpicky thing, would have to be the headlights. Now, I realize that with the LT and much cheaper trim levels, you know, you got to do some cost cutting somewhere. And really, I wish I would have seen the headlight styles similar to the ones on the LTZ and High Country on the LTs at least. That would have been a really nice treat, because I really do like those headlights. They look really nice. They really fit the style of the truck very well. And that's not to say that the headlights on this truck don't look good, but every time I see an LTZ, I really appreciate those headlights and the quality of them, and they really do speak quality as far as a headlight design is concerned. Now, the nice thing is if you do have an LT or an LS or a work truck for that matter that has the standard LT style headlights, you can actually go and purchase a set of LTZ or High Country headlights. And they're, as far as I understand, they're plug and play deals. So if you want a set of really cool looking headlights that you don't really have to go out and buy an LTZ for, that's another option that you guys can look into. And I may be looking into that for myself as well in the long run. And the fifth and final thing that I absolutely hate about this truck, oddly enough, again, another nitpicky thing, has to be the ride height of this truck. Now, if you compare it to Dodge, Ford, Toyota, similar trucks in the class, they all seem to sit a lot higher than this truck does. Now, granted, if you went and opted for 20 or 22 inch wheels on this truck, it would certainly sit a lot higher, and I actually like how much higher they sit with 22s on this truck. They really do fit the trucks very well. But sadly enough, you know, I only have 18s, and so the truck sits somewhere around the ballpark. You know, on the front side, it sits about 36 and a half inches, whereas the rear sits about 38 to 38 and an eighth of an inch, somewhere in that ballpark. It kind of depends after your suspension settles, things like that. But it does have a very low stance, and I mean, it is a really nice and aggressive stance, and it would certainly make sense if this was a two-wheel drive truck where you really needed to counterbalance all that weight on the front. But this is a four-wheel drive, so I guess I'm not really seeing the point as to why it has to sit so much lower than everybody else in the class. So those are the 5 things that I absolutely hate about this truck. Now, like I said, honestly, I really do love this truck. I love everything about it. It does have some little downfalls here and there, and it's just some personal nitpicky kind of things, but really this truck is super nice. I've loved it since day one. I could not be happier with the truck, and in all honesty, I cannot thank, you know, Fort Wayne Assembly for who built the truck, and I cannot thank Andy Moore Chevrolet enough for selling me this truck at a reasonable price. So I think that pretty much wraps up today's video. I do plan on having a couple more upgrade videos and some how-tos with the truck. Of course, right now with work and life, it's kind of hard to balance everything out, but we're gonna do the best we can and try and make the best content for you guys, because that's what's more important right now. I want to produce quality work for you guys, and that's what's most important. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, because I really do appreciate it. Honestly, I do. If this is your first time coming to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. Also, do not forget about that notification bell next to the subscribe button. Make sure to hit that so you are always notified of when I post new videos, because nobody likes being left out in the dark. I don't like being left out in the dark. With all that said, guys, hopefully you have a fantastic day. Take care. Have a great day.